welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make pumpkin pie. Oh, it's so good. Every year I make pumpkin pies for Thanksgiving, and I'm Canadian, so I make it early October, but I felt like it's right in between end of October, beginning of November, right in between Canadian and American Thanksgiving, so anyone can learn and enjoy it coming into the festive holiday season. So we're gonna start with pastry because obviously without pastry you don't have a pie. So we're gonna start with, oh my God, my stomach just growled. Oh, even just talking about this makes me excited. So we're gonna start with 225 grams of butter. I've just cubed them. So I've cut them and cubed them and they're a bit softer. So I've left it out for a little while. So it's easier to mold. Pop that into the bowl. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to take there 2 cups of flour. Just all-purpose flour, nothing fancy. I'm pretty simple. We're gonna put that in there. So 2 cups. Wonderful. And then we're gonna take some sugar, just regular caster sugar, and a teaspoon. And we're taking, pardon me, a tablespoon, not a teaspoon. So you take 1 tablespoon. Sometimes you can put a little bit more in depending on how much sugar you want, but I kind of like it a little sweet. I think it just makes it a good contrast with all the butter. And now we're gonna take 2 knives, because I don't have one of those like fancy, you know, like cutters you use for to cut in the butter. I just take 2 knives and I almost like do a motion like this. And all you're gonna do is you're just gonna like cut the butter into the flour and sugar. It's gonna take a little while because you wanna get it, you don't really wanna handle it until the butter is cut down into smaller pieces. So you wanna just keep cutting this guy away. There we go, getting there. And your desired effect is you want your butter to be almost pea size. So they're actually more like breadcrumbs. So you want it to look like breadcrumbs once you're done with it. And that's before you start handling it in any way. You want to just get it down, and before you start adding the water, because we're going to add, we'll start with a few tablespoons of water and then see how we go. You don't want to put too much water in it, as it makes it obviously not the right consistency. So you want to keep it still slightly dry. So this is the perfect time of year for pumpkin pie. And living in England, I find, coming from North America to England, you couldn't, and originally when I first moved here, I was like 18, and you could not get pumpkin pie anywhere. And this was before Whole Foods came to London. And I remember when Whole Foods came, they sold pumpkin pie this time of year. And oh my God, I got the most excited about it because it just gives you such a festive treat, and it's so different than anything else that they have here. And I don't know why people don't seem to love it. My fiance is actually getting on board now with the pumpkin pie train. Took him a while. Now he likes it. I put custard with it and he seems to love it with a bunch of custard on top of it. But I like my pumpkin pie, just a good old-fashioned classic. There we go, we are getting there. I'm gonna show you how this is starting to look, because as we get closer to it, you can see, like, it's kind of, see? Yeah, so we're getting there, hey? They're still a bit big for my liking. I like to get them a little bit smaller. Cut that down. And it's perfect. Autumnal flavors. The cinnamon, the nutmeg, it just, oh, and the pumpkin. It's just perfect this time of year. See, I told you this was time consuming. I did not lie. So we break that apart. And the one thing about making pastry, I actually think this is looking really good, but it does get a bit dirty. So if you're wanting to, you know, stay clean, I mean, good luck with that. And I honestly, I just let it happen. I get flour all over me. I probably sweat a bit because you're working up a bit of a workout with this arm movement. Not quite, but move that around. Get that all sliced up. Okay, I think we can start. Yeah, they're perfect. So they do, I mean, this I think is looking perfect. And what you want to do is you want to make a well in the middle where the water can go. There's a few big chunks there. So now you have the well. Oh, you did have a well, but I'm gonna make that again. So you have this, it looks like breadcrumbs and almost pea-sized little nuggets. So we're gonna make a well here. And then we're gonna take some water, just cold water from a tap. Nothing fancy. So we're gonna take 1 tablespoon, put it in the middle, start with 2. I mean, generally you probably work up to like 4. Actually, I'll start with 2 and a bit. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna start to fold it in to the water. Now this is when you're gonna start to get a bit dirty. You're gonna have to physically get your hands dirty. I washed my hands before I started this video, so I'm, you know, cleaning my hands. So we've already folded that in. I'm gonna take my ring off and my watch off. And I am rolling my sleeves up because you're gonna start to get dirty and it goes everywhere. So you just gotta get in there. See, we're gonna need some more water with this actually because this is way too dry. But like I said, you'll be surprised how much pastry with the butter and flour and just that little bit of water, how it seems to come together. And at first you look at this and you go, how the heck are you going to get a solid pastry out of this? But you'd be surprised. You would be surprised. And obviously you don't want to work it too much, so you don't want to overwork because otherwise it gets tough, and you want to keep it as light and flaky and delicious as possible. So we're gonna move that over. We are getting there. Yeah, so this now is looking really good. So we're definitely gonna need some more water with it. There we go. And this is just like a classic pastry recipe that I use most holidays for anything like pies, for, you know, anything that requires a short crust. And it's such a delicious, easy recipe that really anyone can do it. And it also, instead of buying the store-bought ones, it's so much easier. It's cheap. It's literally butter and flour. It's in your cupboard, well, most pantries, and you make it and it comes together so beautifully. There we go. Oh, and it's getting like such a nice consistency. So see, as you can see, I'm starting to really get it into a ball form. See, I told you, it's very messy business. Pick up all the extras. And see, that was about 4.5, not even 5 tablespoons of water, pardon me. And really, you don't want to go much worse than that. Perfect. See? We're getting there. Oh, my nose is so runny. I get the worst allergies this time of year. It's always so bizarre when the leaves are going that I get allergies, and every time I complain about it, my nose is running. Okay, so that is looking really good. It's almost even, a bit wet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash my hands, get all that butter off of me. Oh, it's all in my nails. it's the worst. Oh well, it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Got my hands, they're still covered in a bit of butter, but whatever. And I do take a little bit of flour and I just pat it over. Actually, wash that again. Still so filmy. Because I'm going in there again. This time I shouldn't get as dirty this time around, but so we're just gonna make sure to coat it with a bit of flour before we stick it in, and I shall put a little bit more flour in there. That's really your discretion. It's just how it feels. You don't want it to be too wet. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our cling film, we're gonna pop it in our cling film, separate it into two, because this will actually make two pies that are don't have a top. So two pies that are topless, it will make. So I'm just gonna add, I actually normally make one big one and one small one. So I like to separate it accordingly. So I'll keep the one big ball, actually I could go with that one. And I'll keep the one small ball. So that will just be wrapped in the cling film, wrapped on up. That one needs a bit more flour on it. Perfect. And now your pastry is done. We're gonna pop it in the fridge for about 20 minutes, not much longer because you don't want it to get too hard. Otherwise it's gonna have to completely warm up as soon as you take it out. But you just want it to harden and really, you know, get a bit more firm before you use it. All right, and now we're gonna start with the pie fillings. Hi guys, welcome back. So it's been about 10 minutes. So the pastry is sitting in the fridge. So we're gonna start on our filling, which is really, truly the best part. First off, I'm gonna preheat the oven at 200, so it's all ready for us. And I have a fan assist oven, so sometimes it's different on different ovens, obviously, and I mean everyone's different because they're all so individual. Okay, so here's my pumpkin. This is 2 cans of pumpkin, 100% pumpkin. I actually ordered this one because it's kind of hard to find pumpkin in England. In London it's a bit easier, but up here in the north in Manchester it's actually quite challenging. So this one I ordered on Amazon, and it's literally 100% pure pumpkin, authentic American food company. So easy, and it came literally the next day. So unbelievable. So we're starting with 2 pumpkins, which 2 cans of pumpkins, only because I'm going to make 2 pies today. I'll only show you the one and then I'll make another for a friend because I love giving pies to people. It's like my favorite thing to do. This is 2 cans of condensed milk. I'm just going to pop it in there. I'm actually going to get a spoon here. Or pardon me, a spatula. Get all that good stuff out of there. So condensed milk is really sweet. So I find that I used to put both brown sugar and white sugar in, but with the condensed milk, it is too sweet. And I still like to keep my pumpkin pie a bit savory almost. And if you overpower it with too much sugar, like even though this is a lot of sugar, like I'm not saying there's not a lot of sugar in this, but you can really go too sweet and then it's so sickly. But I like to keep it still maintaining the pumpkin, like the pumpkin-y fresh taste of autumn. So we're gonna mix that in. It's looking good already. So easy, honestly. It's like the easiest thing to make. Perfect. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop in about 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar. I actually like to start with not it all, just to see how it's coming together. Because sometimes you want it to come together differently. Perfect. Oh, this is gonna be so good. It's already looking so good. And now I'm gonna take 3 eggs. I hate that when that happens. Got it. I don't know, I'm never good at cracking eggs. I always used to think I could like master it and be like every time perfect. But I'm not. I'm never gonna be good at cracking eggs. I don't know if I'm too aggressive or if it's just like too impatient. And there you go, little shell. So just make sure to get all the shells out if there are any. The eggs. And now we're just gonna mix them in. I mean, they're eggs, so they do take a while to break off and mix in. But they just are gonna make it so nice, so thick, so creamy. It's gonna be delicious. All right. And really, this is gonna be the best part because I love cinnamon and nutmeg. Whoa, having a mind of its own, people. And I'm actually gonna add some more sugar. I kind of like to see what things, like the color of it, because you don't want it to be too orange, but you also don't want it to be too light. And the brown sugar kind of adds like a deeper, richer color to the mixture. And I know that sounds a bit strange, but that's why I like to add it gradually, because sometimes I feel like 3/4, if you can avoid putting all that sugar in, I mean, the better. Although I'm not claiming that this is healthy in any way, shape, or form, so don't take me on that. So this is just cinnamon. Oh, heaven. And this is just a teaspoon. Even though I'll probably put way more in. But I like to pretend I have like some form of like modesty or some form of like hold back when it comes to this, but I don't. Nutmeg. Another one of nutmeg. Perfect. So that's 2 teaspoons of both nutmeg and cinnamon. Oh, see, I'm making a mess. Cinnamon's going. Look at that. Oh my God, that's looking so good. So good. Oh, and you can smell the richness of the cinnamon. It's really getting there. Yay, our oven's all ready to go. Perfect. And I know like this is faux pas, don't worry, I always wash my hands, but I try it. So like that seems perfect to me, but I'm still gonna put a little bit more in. Just because I love excess. I love flavors to taste like flavors. I love cinnamon to taste like cinnamon and nutmeg to taste like nutmeg, and I want those flavors to really come alive in this. And I'm gonna put a little bit more cinnamon. Oh, who doesn't love cinnamon? Just because it's the best. I think that's enough. I gotta hold off on the cinnamon now. Otherwise, no one else will like it. It will just be me that's like eating like pumpkin pie, which I could do. I can single-handedly eat a whole pumpkin pie, no problem. I'll eat it for breakfast the next day. Like, I have no hold back when it comes to that. All right, so that is done with a little pinch of salt. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Perfect, so now that is finished. We're gonna take out, oh, so good. We're gonna take out the pastry now and start rolling it. Okay, so this is just my pastry board. It's pretty straightforward. I'm gonna put some flour on it so it doesn't stick. We're gonna take the big one here because we wanna start with that because we're gonna put it in this guy. And what I just start with, because, oh, it's perfectly chilled, so it's been in there actually probably, yeah, about, I would say just over 20 minutes. And you want to just pat it down to get it as like flat and even as possible, because that's also the challenge, is like getting it, you know, even and so it actually fits in the pie dish. Over we go. Oh my goodness, see, I'm already becoming a mess. But I like it. I like it when I'm a bit of a mess and I've been baking or cooking. It just gives you such a nice feeling of like satisfaction. Okay, so now it's started to even out. Put a little bit more flour on. And now I'm gonna take my rolling pin and just rub flour all over my rolling pin so it doesn't stick onto that guy. I also love that this pastry is such a rich, nice color. It just comes out so beautifully every time, and it's so easy to make. And I find that like people get a bit fearful of pastry. They think it's because everyone tells you how hard it is. And I actually think that's the problem, is everyone tells you how hard it is, that then you think in your head, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hard, I can't possibly make this pastry. But I feel like that is just like a big myth. I think anyone can make this. It's so easy. It's not fancy. It's a classic, good old-fashioned pastry. And I have a knife. I know you're not supposed to do this on marble. Don't judge me. Oh no, it's sticking. See, just let me go under. Oh, it's sticking. Sometimes it takes 1 or 2 tries. That's okay though. I think this is probably when you get significantly covered in. That's looking really a lot better now. Underneath. I also like the rusticness of pastry. I find that like, I may have not left it in, there you go. Like I like the rusticness. I don't want it to be perfect. I don't want my pastry to look like, you know, it's been made by a professional chef. I'm not a professional chef. I am a home cook. I've taught myself all, you know, how to cook. I've taught myself. I did a home ec class in elementary school. I'm not, you know, a professional chef. So, okay, let's see. I think that should actually be okay for size. But I'm actually gonna move that here. So what's great too about this sort of pie is you don't need to make a huge overhang, because you're not going to be closing it, you're going to be keeping it open. So you're keeping the pie open, which is great. Move this over, create some space here. Voila! And we're going to just move this guy on over. See, actually there wasn't that much work in that pie crust today. And we're just going to fold it in half. And we're gonna lift it as gently as possible, put it into the pie dish, and actually it's a bit off. Perfect. Now it's not. And we're gonna move it over there. Because you don't want it to, like, see, even this guy, I have quite a few overhang, but I'm gonna make a nice little top decoration, and all the little extras can go into my next pie. But you're not closing off the pie, so you don't really need that huge extra bit of crust in order to close it and make, if you were to do like a pumpkin pie, or pardon me, an apple pie or something, or like a peach pie or something like that, which is when you would obviously make a top at this point. And I'm just gonna pinch it on the side. Like I said, I don't like things to look perfect. I think, like, you know, it's a home cook, it's a home baking. You know, people want, when someone comes over, they appreciate that the time was spent, that the love and the time was spent in your food and in your baking. And I think that that's really all you need to show. So perfection is not our goal here, because that would just be so boring. So we're gonna fill all those holes and gaps. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. Something else you can put, you can just add a little bit of salt into the pastry. And actually I normally would do that, but I actually like completely forgot to do it. So I'm not gonna pretend I didn't. So that's gonna go there. And like, look how festive that's starting to look. Just a proper, I like to add a little bit on the side. Just if there's anywhere that's a bit smaller. Perfect, thin it out. Oh, that's gonna be divine. And now all we're gonna do, clean that up a little. I'm gonna wash my hands. Get it out of my fingernails again. This time it's not as bad though as the last time when you're actually making it. It's brutal. So this shouldn't, I mean, this is for 2 pies. It's not for a whole pie. So you should be able to get, you know, 2 pies with this. So, and you want to fill it up quite a bit. Oh my God, that's gonna be wonderful. And there's like all on the side. Oh, I made a mess. Oh. Who needs to bake it? Just give me a spoon. All right. I'm like, oh, he's beautiful. Okay. And I'm going to just quickly make some toppings with this. And make it a beautiful little festive guy. I think I have like nutmeg and cinnamon all over my top. I'm just gonna make a little bit of a fun leaf shape out of the remaining, some of the remaining guys, so they just go on top there. Oh, gorgeous. Here we go. And they'll bake beautifully. They just add a little bit more, something more festive to it, so it looks very homemade. It's not, this is not store-bought. Oh, cute dokey. Oh, look how cute that is. Perfect. So now we're gonna pop it in the oven. We have it preheated at 200 degrees Celsius. Yeah, Celsius. 200 degrees Celsius. We're gonna pop it in for 15 minutes, and after 15 minutes, we're gonna turn it down to 180. And let's say hello. He's beautiful. All right. And we'll see you when it's done. Love you. Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so it's been 45 minutes. Well, actually about an hour. And our pies are done. Oh my Lord. Oh. It is perfect. Look at that. Oh. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed our video. If you have any comments, please put them down below. If you want to subscribe, I would love to see you back, and thank you so much, and I'm sending all my love and all my positive energy your way. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and I am going to enjoy this pie. Love you.